Okay, so I just wanted to make a quick video to go over the information in the README, just to make sure if you already read the whole thing, you may not need to watch this, but I just like to go over it to make sure everything is explained. Okay, so let's look at grading. I mentioned in an earlier video, you're going to be graded 20% for practice. You have to watch the videos for the topics that you need to learn, and you need to complete the practice activities that are listed. Your teacher has access to see which videos you've watched and which activities you've completed, and that's going to be a part of your grade. Second is ALEX completion. ALEX is a type of thing where you don't move on until you've learned something. It could be called mastery based. So when you take the pretest, for example, it's going to figure out everything that you know and everything that you need to learn. And from that point, you're going to only move forward. And it doesn't let you mark a topic as learned until you've actually gotten, I think it's 3 in a row correct or something like that. And then it makes you review it again later, and then it'll come up again in assessments. If it comes up in an assessment and you get it wrong, it may disappear from your pie and not be marked complete anymore, and then you'll have to complete it again. And that's important to understand because each week in this course, you're going to have new topics to complete. In order to access them, all of your old topics need to remain complete. So you need to complete those review activities, you need to do the assessments, and anything that you've forgotten how to do, you're going to need to recomplete so that you can move on with everybody else. So ALEX completion is really important to stay on top of and to go in the order that's indicated in the course. Your math notebook, very important. I'm going to scroll down here for a minute just to look at the examples. Okay, so scroll down and I zoomed in a little on my page just to show it on the movie. You can see an example of your what a good math notebook will look like. So notice we've got the week number up here. Instead of the week, you could put the date. And then for each date, there's a little bit of notes. This isn't exactly the same as the notes that you're going to have, of course, but these are a couple of real simple topics. So for example, on September 18th, the two topics were plotting integers on a number line and reading the temperature from a thermometer. There's a couple of notes here. These two topics aren't ones that involve any calculating, so you're not going to have any notes where you're actually showing your work for that kind of topic. Here's another one, September 19th, absolute value of a number. You can see the definition is written here, a couple of examples, a number line. This is information that would be taken as notes either while watching the video or from notes that I give you in the course. So there's a few examples of some really simple topics. It's not going to stay that simple. As you get into the more difficult topics, you're going to have to show a lot of work. And here's an example of maybe some work from later in the course where you're going to have a lot of work shown. And this is actual work that I was doing as I was working through the course to set it up. I think this is from Algebra 2, but actually this is later in Algebra 1 also. And so you're going to have some notebook pages that look like this, just with a ton of work shown. And this is the kind of stuff that we want to see in your notebook because your teacher is going to be checking it every learning period, and it's 10% of your grade. All right, and then finally is quizzes and tests. About every week you're going to have either a quiz or an assessment in ALEX. It's all going to be through ALEX. And when you log in, it'll be there for you. You won't have to go hunt for it or anything. And also, every once in a while, there might be an additional assessment besides the ones that come up automatically. It's important to do your best on these quizzes and tests. These are going to count for 40% of your grade. You can use scratch paper. You can use the calculators that are provided. You can use your own calculator if you like. And you can use your notes. And so that's one of the reasons it's going to be critical to take good notes. But your notes are not going to do you any good if you haven't completed all of the practice. If you just forget a detail and can look for it in your notes, that's perfect. If you don't know how to do something at all and try to figure it out from your notes, that's not going to work. So you really need to make sure that you're keeping up with all of the practice, and then it's going to be really easy for you to be successful on the quizzes and tests. Okay, materials. This is important. You've got to have a good calculator. The Alex calculator is okay, but if you're anything like me, you're going to want to have your own calculator that you can hold in your hand. One thing that's kind of frustrating about the Alex calculator is after you use it and then put your answer in, if your answer is wrong, it's cleared out whatever you did and you have to start over. So if you're going to go get a new calculator, make sure it has a fraction button. For some reason, they sell a lot of scientific calculators without a fraction button, and it's really annoying. You do not want a calculator that doesn't have a fraction button. So this is what fraction buttons may look like. A few examples. And then you also want to make sure you have a button where you can enter your own exponent. Sometimes it'll have just like an x squared button and an x cubed button, but you need to be able to type in your own exponents, and you need to be able to type in your own index by a radical, by a square root sign. So you need to look for this kind of button, either this one or this one, and also one that looks like this or this. You can get, there's a link here to Amazon for a $15 calculator that has all of these buttons. So if you don't have the right one, get one. A math notebook, you can use any notebook. You can use Spiral or a binder, but get one separate notebook just for math that you can turn into your teacher to have checked, and keep it organized. And then, of course, you're going to have internet access. There are some PDF files that you could print out and take with you if you're going on a vacation or something, but all of the graded content is online. So you're going to need decent and reliable internet access, or access to the library where you can do your work there. And we already went through the math notebook. You have to have a label at the top with the date or the week number. You've got to have the date of the math that you're working on. And let me just point out that even though the class has a suggested schedule, there will be 4 sons worth of work, so 4 days worth, and then on the 5th day is when you would take the quizzes and tests. You can be more flexible than that in your schedule. If you want to do math only on non-ACE days, you can do that. I don't necessarily recommend it. Math is better spread out in shorter chunks over more days, but it's pretty flexible. The only thing that isn't flexible is that by the end of the day on Friday, that week's work needs to be done because that's when you're going to be graded on it. And if you complete work late, you're going to get less than full credit for it. It may vary by site or by teacher, but you definitely won't get full credit for work that's late, that's not completed by the end of the day on Friday for that week. Okay, so you might not have a separate date, 5 separate dates in your notebook, but as long as you have all of the content for that week in there, that's fine. You don't have to fudge the dates or anything. I would rather you put the correct date that you did something and then the topics that you did. And we already looked at these pictures, so I guess that's it.